The campaign overall, we made it hard on ourselves at times in games, but we won them. You know, France lost 2 there in the semi-final. So those pool games, you know, your mind goes back to whatever World Cups when teams are playing well, everyone, you know, rating them and think they're going to get to the final, and teams who aren't perceived to be playing well often come through them and get there. Look where France are now. So yeah, we made it tough on ourselves. It was frustrating at times. We didn't get the chance to put games away, but that's World Cups. It's all about pressure. You know, we're 12-3 down to Scotland. They're fighting for their lives. We're fighting for our lives. That's what they're about. They're fantastic games. They mean a lot. So I thought the team's shown a lot of character. You know, there's obviously been the off-field incidents, which whenever you're with the national team of the World Cup, you know, get blown up into huge stories. They weren't particularly, you know, internally with the group. They handled it very well. We dealt with it, you know, early on in the campaign and got on with it. So there's no lingering effect of that. I think that was something that was happening away from our group. So, but ultimately it always ends one of 2 ways. You're either bitterly disappointed or you've won it. And you know, this weekend, us in Ireland and 2 more today, will be bitterly disappointed on their way home. You know, yes, the players, frankly, a lot of them wouldn't even know what's going on at the RFU, and why would they? They come and play rugby. So I think our plans, our budgets, everything was in place long before, you know, what the events of the last few months. So, you know, seriously, we've just been in our bubble getting on with it, and my tenure at the RFU has been fantastic. The support I've had. I think there's this sort of theory that there's something, you know, dark and sinister at the RFU always waiting to jump out, and that's not the case at all. Everyone's been very supportive, even in, you know, the really difficult days. So that's in no way has that been affected our World Cup. I think, you know, when you're a team, a rugby team, as you know, the England team, and as the RFU, obviously the governing body of the game, that's a huge organisation that looks after the whole game. You know, we're obviously the most high-profile part of that, the part that everyone gets to watch, and we've had everything we've asked for. So I've got no, you know, absolutely no issues with that.
Yeah, the key thing from my point of view now is that we take the next 4 to 6 weeks with Martin and review what's gone on. That's the most important thing moving forward. Obviously, Martin will reflect on what's happened and why we've gone out in the quarter-final of a World Cup. It's very disappointing it's happened. And the important thing now is to take stock and look. You know, we said right from the start that we would take this right through to this World Cup with Martin in charge. We've done that, and now we'll sit down with Martin and look at what's happened. And you know, it's my job in the RFU to look at the review, take the review forward, and at some point in the next few weeks, and I'm not going to put any timeline on any of this because I know you'd want one, but the important thing is that we reflect and then make decisions going forward, and we'll do that as quickly and as openly as we possibly can, because as we all know, it'll soon be Christmas and the Six Nations will be around the corner, so we need to make good decisions and quick decisions to take the team forward. Behind the scenes, obviously, in the last 6 months of the RFU have been difficult. No doubt there'll be more talking about that in the future weeks and months, but that has been as it has been, and I've been in the last 6 months effectively holding down 2 jobs, both the Elite Rugby Director and the Rugby Operations Director, and fundamentally we have done everything within the RFU, and Martin has just mentioned it, to make sure that from a support point of view, in terms of the World Cup squad, from the end of the Six Nations through all through the summer, the support out here whilst they've been here, the RFU has done absolutely everything to ensure that, despite all of the issues going on, and I think it's been a couple of times when I've actually said to Martin, stay out of the office, stay at Penny Hill Park, you know, don't get involved with anything that's going on in the office. And quite rightly, quite sensibly, he's done that.
You're right, often at, you know, World Cup year and the year after, there's a little bit of transition in the team, but you know, I think they've been you know, those senior players really lead things, and they have the experience of going to tournaments and World Cups, and that's invaluable. You know, a lot of them here for the first time, and a lot of them not even been on sort of a 7-week trip, but 6 weeks now. But so just understanding what that is and how to deal with it, and you know, suddenly everything's magnified. You know, your behaviour or press conferences, just it's an eye opener for any young player. So we've needed those guys, and we'll just see where we are in terms of selection. Who else is around? If a guy wants to carry on playing and he's the best player in England, then we'll keep on picking him. Look at Simon Shaw, and he's still playing very well at his age. Brad Thorne's going to play today, similar age. So we'll see. But yeah, there is some good young players coming through. And I've said before, it's only just over a year ago that guys like Ben Youngs were making their first start. It's only a couple of months ago we were debating whether Manu Tuolangi was best coming off the bench or getting a start in the Test selection. You know, so if the next 18 months, 2 years, we can produce another crop of young players like that for the national team, it'll put us in a good place. But no, they'll need to go away and reflect. I'm sure a lot of them will want to carry on through the Six Nations.